Okay, Papa's House fans. Now, yeah, I was concerned. Like, I was aware that the show got a new night, Thursday nights, but it wasn't made clear to me until I did a little research that it wouldn't be available to stream until Monday. So, yeah, it really threw me off. So, Papa's House airs Thursday nights on Paramount or CBS, and then you could stream it on Paramount Plus on Monday. So, yeah, my reviews, you can expect them either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll just leave it like that. But yeah, this was a great episode. It hit close to home based on my relationship with my dad. So, will I get personal on this? Probably. But yeah, I want to give Disciplinarian a 9 out of 10. Now, honestly, this would have gotten a 10 out of 10. But here's the thing, though. I don't know if they are going to stretch out the potential romantic connection between Dr. Reed and Pops. Because in this episode, one of the, I guess you'd call it the B or C storylines, was that Dr. Reed, it seems physical touch is one of her love languages. So basically, whenever she is having a discussion with Pop about anything, she I don't know, puts her hand on his knee or on his shoulder, and Pops thinks that this is a sign that she's into him. But then Junior's like, Dad, you're talking about the way she looks at you, right? But that's because you're doing a podcast together. You're sitting right across from her, and she's waiting until you finish talking so she can talk. No, Junior, come on. I know women, and I know that she's into me. So that's kind of like a funny little side thing that's only brought up maybe once or twice in the episode after that first initial scene. But later in the episode, when Pops is talking to her about, Junior resenting him, there's a moment where, yet again, she's doing the touchy-feely thing. Now, my initial thought was, I don't know, maybe because I haven't had a lot of women flirt with me like that, I would completely be ignorant to the situation. But on top of that, I think about what's her name? Drew Barrymore, who has a talk show, and something that's always trending regarding her is the fact that people are like, oh, she's always, invading the personal space of whatever guest she has on the show. And I'm thinking, I wonder if Dr. Reed is like that. But in that last conversation she has with Pops about Junior, I don't know, it just seemed like maybe there is something going on there. And my thing is this, that wasn't resolved or followed up on in the episode. Now, will it be followed up in episode 6 or 7? Maybe. But I'll say this much. If this storyline does get a follow-up, then you can just say that this episode elevates from a 9 to a 10 because they're planting the seeds for something. But from what I could tell, they probably are. So regardless, 9 out of 10 is a very high score. I think that this episode yet again proves that this show has a lot of heart and it is a relevant topic of today. The way children were raised back in the day compared to now, where now it is not uncommon for a lot of parents to be friends with their children. Granted, I think I feel like I relate to Junior's situation of how he was raised versus how he decided to raise Maya and Trey. So in that situation, you got Trey calling Junior by his name, Damon. He's rude. He doesn't do what he's told. And basically, Pops isn't really having it. It's like, you let your son talk to you like that? He calling you by your first name and everything? Yeah, Nia and I decided, we'll be friends. It's like, nah, that's not how it works. And it comes to find out, Junior resents his dad because of how strict and basically the way he was. Put it this way. Pops was essentially major pain to his son. And there was really never a connection between the two where Junior felt like he could talk to his dad about anything. It was just that you had to do what he said. You couldn't open up to him. He was strict. come to find out it's because, after the divorce between his parents, Junior was bouncing between homes. You have the mom who's more lenient, Catherine, I believe, who's more lenient and carefree. But as a result, that led to Junior lashing out and needing some strict discipline in his life. And unfortunately, whenever he got sent to his dad's house, he pretty much, cracked the whip, and that made his son resent him. And that was a very powerful conversation that occurred later in the episode when Junior tried to defend the way that he raises his children because he doesn't want them to resent him the way he resents his dad. And I can relate to that. I'm 33, and I honestly do not have a great relationship with my dad based off the way I was. I don't even want to use the term raised, and I don't want to get into too many personal details, but I've just seen a lot of things growing up that I don't agree with. And I feel like if I ever get into a relationship or get married or have children, I will do the complete opposite of what I saw my dad do. And I will leave it at that. But I just feel like, I agree with Dr. Reed earlier in the episode where she kind of vouched for both sides that, children need to have a safe space with their parents. That way they don't have any sort of, second thoughts when it comes to bringing anything to your parents to talk to them about. But at the same time, they do need to have a structured environment to teach them the ways of life in terms of, discipline and whatnot. That way they know how to conduct themselves in society, because turns out Trey has been really acting up even in school, going so far as to pull the fire alarm, and that caused the entire school to be evacuated, and he's cutting up in class. So yeah, Trey is pretty much not doing anything he's told, even from his own mom, who's telling him clean the room. And later in the episode, we have this scene at the dinner table where Trey is literally showing out his mom told him, hey, I told you couldn't have your phone or your video game or whatever. And then he starts going in on her about telling her to be quiet and she's dumb and everything. And Nina's face just kind of sank until Junior spoke up and literally put him in his place. Look, you do not talk to my wife like that. So basically, tell her you're sorry. Get up, put that phone away, and go to your room. And he was pretty much stern. They shut him down quick, fast, in a hurry. And, Nina thanked him for it. And then he talks to his dad about it. And pretty much, they reconcile, basically saying that, hey, what you did was great. Also, another funny running gag. It turns out Damon Sr. had cameras in his son's house, which sounds weird, but at the same time, it was his way of keeping tabs on how the parenting was going. And he pretty much had lots of critiques because, Junior wasn't doing a good job of being the, authority disciplinarian figure that his kids need in their lives. And he gets to the point where what was it Tony, basically the persona that Damon came up, or Junior came up with when he was in school after some dude pantsed him or whatever. And when I tell you, I was crying laughing when he re-entered that persona. And then for whatever reason, or however it worked, he's able to, and I know this sounds weird for a man to be laughing at this and say, he had this thing where either he snapped his fingers or pointed at his dad and his sweatpants would just drop. And it was just Pop's reaction to how are you doing? Stop it. The way I had to rewind it 3 times because I was laughing that hard. It felt like the right amount of comedic levity needed in an episode like this. Because like I said, I was in my feelings the majority of the episode because I could relate to this. And I mean, I wish I had that relationship with my dad, but I don't. So it's just one of those things where it's again, I'm 33. I've accepted he is the way he is. I know that's not how I want to be when and if I ever have kids. But it truly was hilarious to see a dynamic between these two. And the fact that they reconciled due to the fact that, Pops pretty much told his son, look, I had to be that authority figure because you were acting out when you were with your mom. And unfortunately, it tarnished our relationship. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I was teaching you lessons in my own way, while harsh, were less harsh than if life had taught you those same lessons. So they pretty much, make up from there and, enjoy the relationship they have now. But on top of that, he makes sure to tell his son, look, what you did tonight was great, but don't backtrack. Don't go back to being friends with Trey because it will undo all the progress that you made. And Nina even says, like, look, what you did was stern, but you did it in a way where you could tell it was done from a place of love as opposed to a place of, mean-spirited, just being a tyrant like you said your father was when you were younger. So, yeah, this episode, man, Poppa's house is great. It is. Here we are, 5 episodes in, and I feel like I smile more and more with each episode. I think it's just the fact that Damon and his son just have great chemistry because, well, they're father and son in real life. The cast overall is great. And then also a B or C storyline between Mia, who is adorable, and Nina is the fact that Mia is a dancer, and Nina turns out that she was a dancer or was about to be like a pro skater or whatever when she was younger, but some person hit her in her knees with a pipe, I think. And she's pushing her daughter too hard, and it's taking the fun out of her recital. And it really just, wasn't there a show on TLC called Dance Moms or something like that, where basically, it talks about these moms that put their little girls in pageants and whatnot, and it's a lot of pressure. And Nina is trying to relive what could have been her glory days through her daughter, and by the end of it she comes to grips with, oh, okay, maybe I need to ease up and let you have fun. So it's kind of interesting, the dynamic of Damon, who needed to be less fun and more strict with their son, and Nina, who needed to be less strict and allow their daughter to have fun in what she's doing. So 20 minutes, yet they pack so much into this show. I love it. All right, well, that's all I have to say about this week's episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.